Yeah, this is review for the quiz. I don't know what the schedule is tomorrow. I don't know how long the thing's going to go tomorrow, but I'm going to review anyway. So next time we have class, okay, if we don't have class tomorrow, then there's nothing I can do about that. But if we have class tomorrow, then we're given a quiz. If I got a full class, okay, if I got half an hour, okay, if I have a half an hour tomorrow, I'm given the quiz. Everybody understand that? So if we're here by 2:30, don't mess with me, Jay. Don't mess. So if we have a half an hour tomorrow, then I will give the quiz. So just remember that. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 3 all kind of look the same, and you kind of had something like this on the last quiz you took. So this is the one where you have to write a congruent statement. Remember that? They give you a couple triangles. They tell you some stuff that's true about it. You got to look at them and decide if they are congruent. Not really if they are congruent, because all three of these will be congruent, okay? So let's do this. Let's put 1 to 3. So you're going to write a congruent statement. Just generally, what is a congruent statement? And then, yeah, you can use any letters. This is just very general, okay? That's a congruent statement. So when I say write a congruent statement, it should look like this. You need to have congruent right here, not just an equal sign. Everybody understand that? Some people didn't do that. Some people aren't putting the triangles out in front. I did not mark it wrong if you didn't, but I'm going to start if you don't. Everybody hear that? Yeah. Okay, so you need to put a triangle. Don't just put ABC. It doesn't mean anything. If you just put ABC, that means nothing in geometry. All right? I don't know if it's an angle. I don't know if it's a triangle. I don't know what else it could be, but you got to put triangle in front of it. So make sure you do that with a congruent statement. Put a little note in your notes. You guys taking notes on this? Put a little note. Make sure. Write triangle. Okay? Make sure that you put congruence. Now remember, the first ones, they got to match up. They have to be the angles that match up with each other. Right? And the B and the E have to match up with each other, and the C and the F. Again, this is very general, A, B, C, D, E, F. I mean, who knows? I might use those letters. Actually, I don't even use all those letters for any of them, but you get the idea, okay? The A and the D have to match up or be corresponding to each other. The B and the E, the C and the F. Some of you guys, you wrote the right letters, but you put them in a different order, and I had to mark it wrong. Because that's part of writing the congruent statement, is that the A and the D correspond, the B and the E, and the C and the F. Make sense? Okay. And then you also have to give me a reason. Now, this is a different section than what we did on the last quiz. So this is that right triangle. So all three of these are going to be right triangles. Do you remember the right triangle? What do we call those? Theorems, congruence theorems. So I'm going to write that down. Congruence theorems. We had a few of those. These are right triangle. I'll put that. Right triangle congruence theorems. Do you remember what some of them are? Let's list a few.
Leg, leg.
Okay, leg, leg. Hypotenuse. What was it? Hypotenuse angle, right?
Leg angle.
Leg angle.
Hypotenuse leg.
Hypotenuse leg. So we just had 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I actually list those for you on the quiz, all right? So I will list all 4 of these for you. I guess you could just guess, but it's a lot better not to guess. It's a lot better to know which one of these that you use. So again, on numbers 1 to 3, it's a 2-parter. You got to get them both right to get the problem right. And again, you had one like this on your last quiz. I just handed back to you today. So make sure. I do list them for you, yes. Okay, I do list those for you. But you got to pick which one works. Okay. 4, 5, and 6 deal with the mid-segment. Remember mid-segment?
Yeah.
4 through 6. That's dealing with the mid-segment. I'm not going to do a specific problem, but I'm just going to just generally talk about mid-segment here. Okay, so here's a triangle. You could draw the mid-segment at 3 different spots, but I'm just going to go from here to here. So where would the mid-segment start from? It'd start from the midpoint of one side and go over to hit the what? Midpoint of the other side. That's right. So if that hits the midpoint, if this point right here is a midpoint, that means that this and this are equal, and it also means that this and this are equal. But more importantly, the stuff that we're trying to figure out, we'll just call this segment A and segment B. Is that all right? So segment A has a relationship with segment B. Okay, this mid-segment has a relationship with its opposite side. What is it? It's it. It's half of B. So A would be half of B. Or you could say B is what? 2 times A. Yeah, however you want to look at it, right? So if this right here was 5, then what's B? It's 10. Very easy. It's not always going to be that easy, though. You know what they're going to throw in there, don't you? Because you did homeworks on this. What do they put in there? X's. They put some X's in there. Exactly, right? Put some X's in there. You set up the relationship. You solve for X. You plug it back in, right? Haven't we been doing that all year? Solve for X, plug it back in. We're going to be doing that the rest of the year, too. Okay, that's like one of the main things of doing the high school geometry is that kind of stuff. All right, so you just got to make sure that you know. Now, I'm looking at it. Yeah, there's a couple on here where they are just numbers. But number 6, it's got letters in there, okay? If we have time at the end, if you have a question on one of the problems from the homework, you can ask me. We can do one of them. All right, that's 4 through 6. And then 7, 8, 9, and 10 all deal with the same picture. So 7 through 10, but you're finding a couple different things. You're finding 2 different things. On 2 of them, 7 and 8, okay, so on numbers 7 and 8, you're finding the slope. I'll show you a picture in a second. All right, and then on number 9 and 10, what do you think you're finding? You did homeworks on this. The distance, that's right. They say the length, is that all right? But that is the distance, so you are right if you said the distance. But you're going to use the distance formula. But on the quiz, I say find the length of it, just so you understand what you're trying to find. All right? So you'll have something that looks like this. And this also deals with mid-segment as well. By the way, let's go back to this. I said that the length of this is half of the length of that. But what else is true about this line segment and this side right here? They're parallel to each other. So they must have the same slope, okay? That has a little bit to do with this problem right here. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. All right. Let's go from the midpoint of this. So let's put a point right there. There's the midpoint of that. Oh, got to click off of it. Let's see. Where is the mid? Let's try this again. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. Boom. Boom. There it is. There's the midpoint. And here's the midpoint right there. And if I connect them, what do I have if I connect those? What's that thing called? Mid-segment. Okay. So that means that this and this are equal, right? Because that's the midpoint. And this one and this one are equal, again, because that's the midpoint. Now, what do I know about, I'm asking the same exact question as I did earlier, okay? And I understand I'm doing that. But what about this thing right here? That is what of this?
Parallel.
It's parallel, that's true. So they got the same slope, right? And it's half. The distance is half, okay? So when it says find the slope, what does the slope have anything to do with midpoint? Well, the slope means if I find the slope of this one, what's the slope of this going to be? Same exact thing. Does that make sense? Okay? So, and they'll give you enough information. They're going to give you some points, right? They'll tell you what that ordered pair is. They'll tell you this ordered pair. They'll tell you this one, and this one. Yep, they tell you all that information, right? They'll put numbers in there. They're not going to be blank like I just did, but they'll put numbers in here. And you have to find if they're You find the slope. You just have to find the slope of both of these. So what would you do? Put it in the slope formula, right? Change in y over change in x. That's stuff that's pretty old now. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right? We've hit that a lot. So we'll find the slope of that. Now look, do you have to do it twice though? If I find the slope of this one right here, do I have to do any work to find the slope of this one? No. It's just whatever this is, okay? So if you find the slope of one of them, finding the slope of the other one's super easy because it's exactly the same. We good with that?
Yeah.
All right, because so find the slope, 7 and 8. You find one, the other's going to be the same. What about the lengths? Find one of the lengths. Let's find this one right here. What if I found that length using the what formula? The distance formula, okay? So find the distance of this or the length of this. With doing very, very minimal math, how would I find the length of this one? Just double it. It's exactly right. Okay, do you have to do the distance formula twice? No. You find one. If you find the short one, you double it to find the longer one. If you've decided to find the long one, what do you do to find the shorter one? Right, divided by 2. Take half of it. Make sense? So the work looks like it's a lot, but really, you find one slope, and kind of basically, you find one length, and you could always find the other one super easy. Make sense? You remember this problem on the homework, don't you? Okay. Was this on 4-7? Probably was. Yeah, I haven't collected 4-7 though, have I? No. Okay, so we've got about 12 minutes. So why don't we do that? Why don't we answer some questions from 4-7? Do you have 4-7 out? If you have 4-7 out, maybe we can do a couple of these. And what I would do is I would stick to the ones that look like the ones I've talked about, right, that could be on the quiz. Wouldn't that be a good idea? So let's take a look at 4-7. What numbers did I give you? 1 to what?
1 to 16, 19 to 30.
Okay, 1 to, because there were 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it was 1 to 16 and 19 to 30?
Yep.
Okay. I think that was A and B, 4-7A, 4-7B. Okay, so any of those, you can ask me any of those, and we'll try to do them. Now, if I see something that's not going to be on the quiz, we won't cover that, all right? Not that it's not important, but I just want to kind of get you ready for the quiz tomorrow, if we have the quiz tomorrow. So find a good one that looks like something that might be on the quiz. What do you think? You're quiet. Everybody knows how to do all these? You don't have any questions? Is that why it's quiet? I'm not going to embarrass you. I'm not going to bring you up here and have you do it or anything. Is there anything on that homework that you want to go over? Everybody's good? Let's do one that's not on the quiz then. 26. Is that on the quiz? Yeah, 26, 25, 6, and 7. 6 and 7
Yeah, those ones were.
could look like it's on the quiz. I'll tell you right now, it's not exactly that, but close enough. Let me grab a little graph thing here. Tell you what, I'm going to grab this one right here. It's a little more accurate. But it really, there we go. All right. So this is number 25, 26, and 27. All right, what do they give you? Negative 2, 2. Let's plot the points that they give you. Negative 2, negative 2. Negative 4, positive 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, right there. And then 5, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, right there. I'll tell you this, if you can do this one, you can absolutely do the one on the quiz. I don't know if it's any more difficult or not, but what was this point? Negative 2, negative 2?
Yeah.
This was 4, 2, negative 4, 2. This was 5, 3. All right. Okay, what do they ask you to do? They say, let's put some letters in here. I didn't put the letters in. So, I got to do the midpoint stuff too. Now, I'm just eyeballing this, okay? So now I'm kind of getting away from being super accurate, but that's all right. This is V and this is W. And then it comes to the midpoint right here, and that's U. Man, it takes me longer to draw this thing than it would to actually come up with an answer, I think. All right, there we go. And they also tell you that these are all midpoints. See where it hits right here? That's a U. So U's a midpoint, V's a midpoint, and W is a midpoint. And this is X, this is Y, put the Y right here, and this is Z. All right, now we're finally, after drawing all that stuff, finally ready to do this. So it says, number 25 says, find VW. What happened? Is it on now? Is it good? Yeah. Okay, I think I was, no, that was a power cord. It shouldn't. Anyway, all right, here we go. Let's hope it works. Find VW. Where's VW? From there to there. So I got to find that point, though, don't I? And I got to find this point right here. Oh, my word. I said it like 3 times. It's 25, 6, and 7. 25, 26, and 27. So this one's 25. Find VW. Again, this one's a little more complicated than one on the quiz. All right, so the quiz is a little bit easier than this one. So I got to find the distance from here to here. On the quiz, I tell you exactly where the midpoint is. Okay, I give you the point V, and I give you the point W. They don't give it to you on this, do they? Now, you might have drawn it and think that it could, guess where it is or give a good... Anyway, let's just find it. How do I find V? How do I find where point V is, the ordered pair?
You do the midpoint.
It's the midpoint of Y and Z, correct? So let's do that really quick. So to find V, right, what do I find? The midpoint of Y and Z. So how do I find the midpoint? Add up the x's, right? Well, it's a midpoint, so it's like this. I add up the x's. What is that? Negative 4 plus 5. Let's do that in our head. Negative 4 plus 5 is 1. Yeah, so I just put the 1 there. Okay. And then what do we got? 2 plus 3 is 5. Right there. So what's my point? It's 1/2. You could say, yeah, 5/2 is good. Yeah, let's just use 5/2. That's 2.5 though, isn't it? Right? So was that 2.5, 1, 2? Yeah, pretty close to 2.5, wasn't it? All right, so not bad. So I don't really need that. So that's the midpoint of V. What else do I need to find? I need to find W, right? Because I need to find VW. Correct? There it goes again, didn't it? Was it? I've been having problems with this. Let's see. There we go. Now, if I just don't touch it, then maybe it'll work. So now I got to find W, correct?
Yeah.
Because I got to find, that's a midpoint. Well, that's a midpoint, so W. That's the midpoint between X and Z. So let's do that. So that's over 2, and this is over 2. So how do we find that? Add the x's together. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. Add the y's together. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. All right, there's our 2 points. Still don't know VW. How do I find VW? How do I find that length? Use the what? Use the distance formula. Okay, so let's find the distance. Now, this is going to be a little ugly. Why is this a little ugly? Because you got fractions, don't you? Yeah. Seems like everything's breaking down on me. The internet's not working. The screen's not working half the time. My tablet doesn't work half the time. Everything's breaking down. All right, here we go. How do we find this? Here's our 2 points. What do we do? subtract the x's from each other. It doesn't matter what order you subtract them. Let's do it easy. What's 3 halves minus 1 half? 2 halves. What's 2 halves? It's 1. So let's just do that in our head. So that's a 1. Okay? What about this? 5 halves minus 1 half is 4 halves. What's 4 halves?
2.
See? The fractions aren't that bad. One. Oh. We're going nuts. This is 1. This is 4. So what is that? Square root of 5. So that's the distance. So that's the answer for VW. It's the square root of 5. That's that length right there. Do they ask you? They don't ask you. But they could ask you to find yx. Now they don't, but I'm going to find it anyway. Yx. If I find one of them, how do I find this one right here?
Double it.
Just double it. That's right. How do I double square root of 5? Is it square root of 10? No. It's not 2 the. It's just 2 times the square root of 5. Okay? Does that make sense?
Thursday, it will not be tomorrow because of Veterans Day. So your Georgetown Day, if you earned honors or distinguished honors, will now be Thursday. Thank you.
All right, UV. So basically, all of these is just basically what we just finished doing, but doing it 2 more times. All right, so 26 is UV. I'm just going to talk through it because we're running out of time. So where is U? Right here. So I got to go from here to here. Well, I already found that midpoint V, didn't I? So all I got to do is the same thing. Find the midpoint between here, find that, put it in the distance formula, boom, I got UV. Their answer is the square root of 74 over 2. So that looks a little more complicated, but that's what they get for UV. All right, so that one right there. And then the third one probably asks for the other mid-segment. So they're basically just asking for the lengths of all 3 mid-segments. So UW. Whoops.
Why couldn't you simplify that?
This won't simplify.
74
Yeah.
divided by 2.
Yeah, but you don't just divide by 2. So what's 74 divided by 2? 37, right? So 2 times 37. Can I take the square root of 37? Can I break down 37 any more than that? No. So if it was like, it's not. So if it was like 4 times 37, if it was, okay, then I could take this, take the square root of 4, but I still can't take the square root of 37, so I would write it like this. But I can't do that to this. I can't take the square root of 2. I can't take the square root of 37, so I cannot simplify that, which means I cannot simplify that. Does that make any sense? Yeah, we didn't really talk about simplifying square roots in here very much. Maybe you did in Algebra 1, but there you go. All right, be ready for the quiz tomorrow. If we have a quiz, if we have class, I don't know. Yeah, I'll tell you what, hang on to those. Sorry, I know. Hang on to those, because if you need to look at it to study from, maybe there's one on there that you think might be on the quiz. Look at it, study it, and then I will collect it tomorrow, I promise.